All right, settle down. And I'm back again with a fragrance review of Ombre Nomade from Louis Vuitton. And I was quite skeptical when I heard they were putting out a line of fragrances. Wasn't sure what to expect considering their usual clientele, one of lots of money, but poor taste in fashion choices. So I was actually expecting something of a higher quality, but maybe on the safer side, especially in fragrances. And, I was kind of right, kind of wrong. As I'm getting to know this brand, I can see that I'm getting a little bit more attached. They're definitely of higher quality. The darker bottles, so the Middle Eastern line, I don't think they're actually officially a line, but they're actually really interesting. They're really well composed. They smell fantastic. Uniqueness. We'll get into the uniqueness in a bit. A lot of people complaining about the uniqueness. Okay, fair enough. But to me, I definitely wasn't expecting Chanel-esque quality or Hermes style perfumes. More along the lines of Dior and Guerlain, which are under the same umbrella, being Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy. And, just like those two brands, I expect we will see a ton of releases from Louis Vuitton, because that's what we've come to see, from history. Maison Christian Dior releasing a ton of perfumes, as is Guerlain, and I think MFK is under this brand too. So they are getting on the safer side. Quality still remains really, really good. But Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy's pretty much changed the face of a lot of those brands where they once used to be daring and bold and unique and trailblazers. They are no longer. They just kind of run with the pack. But as far as the uniqueness goes, I've been hearing a lot about Ombre Nomade not being groundbreaking, it smelling like a lot of other things out there, it reminding people of other things. I heard it smells like Tuscan leather. I've heard people say it smells like Portrait of a Lady. I've heard people say it smells like Noir de Noir and Rose d'Arabie. And my response to that is, well, it is a rose leathery oud perfume, so it might remind you of other things with the same elements in them. I don't think it necessarily was inspired by one perfume as a whole. Sure, it's got leather in it that might be slightly similar to Tuscan leather. It doesn't remind me of Tuscan leather at all, actually, even though it's got raspberry and leather. Portrait of a Lady, it's got a jammy, fruity rose, a woody rose, but it doesn't smell like Portrait of a Lady to me, which is a rose patch, with incense and stuff. Completely different. Noir de Noir, it doesn't smell like at all to me. Noir de Noir smells more like their other perfume, Le Sable Rose. That's much more similar. But a Rose d'Arabie, yes, I can definitely see more resemblances with that one, especially, they both have a really comparable rose, oud, and vanilla base. A very, very vanillic this perfume is as is Rose d'Arabie, but so it's definitely not the most unique rose oud out there, but it is of a higher quality than most of those others. I'm really impressed with the quality and just the complexities. I think this is actually more complex than most of those, even more bold. Usually you don't find very big, bold, loud perfumes that are as well constructed as this one. Usually, it's you have this counterbalance. Usually it's really bold and poorly constructed, or it's soft, light, ethereal, and it's got really good composure. This really has both of those. My biggest concern with Ombre Nomade was the oud note, and was it going to be authentic? Was it going to be synthetic? Was it going to be just, I don't know, fake? But Louis Vuitton does claim that it's a real oud that they harvest and source through their farming, but I was hoping that it wouldn't be that really ugly, nasty aroma chemical, neurlimbinol, which I once referred to as the dog food of all perfume notes, which is very loud and harsh, screechy, headache-inducing, woody, ambery, just this nasty violence of a note is what it is. And I don't get that from this at all. I don't pick up synthetics, and I can't speak for the how natural it is, because I don't know. I think only Jacques Cavalier really knows that, but it does smell like more of the higher end ouds that I've smelt or am familiar with, like the Frederic Mulls or some of the artisanals, and it's got great oud facets. You know, it's very smoky, slightly animalic and barnyardy, got a lot of great texture to it. I'm really happy with the oud note though. It's creamy and it's really seducing. You know, oud is a very interesting note. It's very complex, and it's really hard to break down, other than, you know, usually just hear it's woody and smoky and incensey. You know, it's much more than that. That doesn't really describe anything. Woody, smoky, incensey. To me, it's got, like, when I smell this as a whole, I see I see colors and I see pictures, and to me, it's got this coarseness. As smooth as this is, it's very camphorous. It does have an animalic undercarriage, like this, almost like a furry underbelly. It's not quite fecal, but it does kind of toe that barnyard line. And by texture and camphorous, it almost reminds me of kind of like the whiskers of a Persian rug. But it's also very, it's black in color and ashy. It's very ashy. It's got some fuzz. It's got this pitch to it. It's not a high annoying pitch, but I know when I smell oud on somebody walking by, it's just got this fuzziness. I get like almost like these tingles that run down my back. I can definitely picture like a souk or a spice bazaar, or maybe even a mosque. I guess with all the people that go there traditionally wear oud, that this is what a mosque would smell like. But there's also a lot of rose in here, and Louis Vuitton denies that there's any rose, or they don't advertise it. So their website doesn't advertise rose, and their sales assistants aren't trained to educate you about the lack of, well, they say there's no rose in here, but there obviously is, because I'm smashed in the face with it as soon as I apply this, and it's a really big, bold, heady, red rose petal, very woody. There's no greenness to this. There's no stems. There's no earthiness. It's just a very woody, masculine rose. Slightly jammy. It might have raspberry nuances to it. I don't get a whole lot of fruitiness to this, other than maybe like fruit textured rose. A lot of leather in here. That might also be slightly on, see, again, I gotta be careful with animalic. There is something animalic to this perfume, but the oud is definitely animalic, but the leather is more birch tarry. but it's also got a smoothness to this, and it's dry leather and it's ashy, and it reminds me of their other perfume. This is Nouveau Monde, and I feel like Ombre Nomade, we were talking about comparisons earlier, really takes the base of Nouveau Monde, which is leather oud, very dry, salty, and it does have animalic qualities to it, and it really takes the base of this and adds all these other elements like rose, like raspberry, or fruity rose, and a lot of vanilla, because in the base I get like heaps and heaps and heaps of really sweet, warm, creamy vanilla, and maybe even some sandalwood just to round this out, because it's a very smooth perfume, really well calibrated. It's definitely of a higher quality, and it's going to get you noticed. It's very loud, and on me, you know, it's not an everyday perfume. It's more like a going out perfume, and it's very, it almost feels like a well-tailored, like a snug suit, opposed to a lot of the screechy other rose ouds that I'm familiar with. So it is very loud, and it can be aggressive at times. But I think really it's, you know, as unique as it is not, it takes from a lot of previous rose ouds and perfects it. That's what it seems like to me, like the perfected rose leather oud combo. That's the three dominant notes for me, is rose, leather, and oud. And it's very warm, creamy, it's very dark. I almost see the picture black, or the color black. Smoky, ashy, dirty. Might be challenging for some. It's definitely not for me. I almost wish it was a little bit more filthy. But I think it's a fantastic rose leather oud fragrance. Yeah. I'll show you the packaging. I think the bottles are absolutely gorgeous. They're kind of tinted. You can't really see. There's Nuit de Faux. That's kind of got a green-blue tint. This is almost brown. And it's got two boxes. It's double packaged. This is Le Sable Rose. If you can see that. And when I had first got it, I thought they had changed the packaging, because I remember them coming in rounded cylinders, almost like the Maison Christian Dior line. But when you open this up, it opens up like this. You've got the round packaging in there. And there is Le Sable Rose. And this is the one that smells more like Noir de Noir to me than Ombre Nomade. But a fantastic rose oud, and I'm definitely not, you know, the rose oud connoisseur. I've kind of gotten over them, but I really enjoy this and I like it, and I've become quite attached to it in the time that I've had it. I keep reaching for it, and I've become kind of like, I'm looking out for it. I want it. I pull towards it. I'm gravitated towards it. And that's really how much I'm enjoying it. So there you go. Really impressed so far with Louis Vuitton. But if you tried it, let us know. Drop a comment down below. Let us know what you think. Really enjoy reading your guys' comment. You guys get to watch my review, so I'd like to hear your comment. And drop a like, and we will see you in the next video.